Hi guys, DK here from KaroroCAM. Today we are going over part 15 of this multi-part series on how to shape a kite surfboard in KaroroCAM. And today we are working on the shaping rack. So if you go back and check part 14, you would have seen the design and GCode programming for this part of the project. And yeah, today we are back in my friend McNeel's wood factory, and we are CNC cutting the parts for this rack. So that was the end panels being cut, and now here is the shelf and the extra parts for the saddle. With all those cut, it's now time to get on to assembly. So here I've got one of the end panels and the two extra pieces for the saddle area, just to increase the thickness, and I'm just carefully lining those up so that the edges are all nice and flush. And then I'm driving in just some wood screws. No glue needed for this application, and in fact this 25mm plywood that I have here is actually designed for concrete formwork. So it has a waterproof glue, but more importantly it has a smooth plastic film finish on it, which would mean it's not actually possible to glue these pieces on without some extensive sanding, and really for this not needed. So just three screws in each one of those, and we'll move on to the other end panel. So same procedure, just line up the edges, clamp in place, check everything's nice and flush, and then drive in some screws. So first side done, lining up the second side, and the screw holes here, I'd actually screwed these parts down onto the baseboard on the CNC machine, or the spoil board, just to be guaranteed that they weren't going to move with the cut going all the way through. And now I'm moving on to the shelf assembly, and I'm just using an offcut here to mark the thickness of the vertical pieces, and drilling. Yep, out with my square, just marking some additional hole positions. So getting all that drilled, flip it around, same with the other side. Now, with all those holes drilled, it's now we grab the side rails, and again, no glue needed. We're just assembling with some square drive wood screws. And the tool I'm using here is an impact driver. These are much more effective for driving screws than a drill alone. So really nice two tool combo is to have the drill and the impact driver. It certainly prevents you from needing to swap from drill bit to driver bit constantly while you're working on a project like this. So I'm just lining those edges up, and that is the shelf assembled. So now I need to mark out where the shelf is going to sit on the end panels, and I think it's 450mm from ground level. So just marking that up on both sides, and then running that across with a square, and then marking how far down that shelf is going to be, so I can mark where all my screw holes are going to be. So squaring that off, and then just using a scrap of plywood just to get the thickness measurements all sorted. Now I was going to eyeball that center hole, but I decided it was better that I get out with my ruler. So with all that marked out, I can put the shelf in place, line it up with the line across the end panel, and then I can drive a few screws home. Sorry, this has just gone off shot here, but I just put the assembly down on the floor to get access for the last couple of screws. Now it's on to the second end panel, and same thing, just confirming my dimensions. So 450 up, squaring that across, marking the thickness of the timber, and then down for the level for each rail. Pre-drilling all my screw holes, including the center. Now, to make this assembly a little bit easier, what I'm doing here is clamping on a scrap piece of timber on that line. And this ends up off camera, but what I do is assemble this on the floor with the shelf sitting on that piece of timber. So with all that sitting together, it's just a matter of grabbing a few screws, the impact driver, and screwing the shelf onto that second end panel. And there we have it, all completely assembled, and now it's time to move on to adding the EVA foam. So what I did here was pick up one of these 20mm EVA floor sheets, and I'll just cut off the the sort of connection tabs on one side, and then this is a piece of timber that's about 75mm wide, and I'm just using that as a guide to cut off a few strips. Now, once I had these, I cracked open a tin of contact adhesive and glued these onto the saddle area and across the top of the rack. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of that, but here we see the finished shaping rack, and actually a bit of a teaser for the next video is that shaped core sitting on top of it. So there we have it, guys. That is it for this episode. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below or email us KaroroCAM@gmail.com.